Hello everybody and welcome back to Chaos Creations. Well, I'm just doing some more epic for Legion Imperialis, and I just sort of give a bit of a walk down memory lane and then get onto the new stuff. So this came out, I don't know, 90s sometime. I was a grown-ass man when this came out. I had grey starting to appear. Yeah. So this is the original book. Beautiful, stunning artwork. A bit of storyline, gorgeous fluff and so forth, different races, elder, orcs and so forth. I think the Necrons came later on, the architectures and so forth. And it was absolutely awesome. And for its day, it was fantastic. And there's an old picture at the back, I think somewhere I may have passed it. Oh, I love the adverts at the back. That just really gets me. Space Marine, Titanicus, Battle Titans, all this beautiful fluff at the back. They don't do it now, and I guess it's a bit sad, but, everything, there it is. Leman Russ with his wolves. So that was epic, and we're waiting for Legion Imperialis now. Now, I want to talk to you about a few things today. First of all, terrain. And terrain is good and bad stuff. So I painted these up. Now, initially I painted yellows and reds, and what I should have done was an old Necromunda technique where you paint it brown, like a very dark bestial brown and so forth, then use your Necron compound to go over it and give it a nice little sort of silver, rusty look, and then put on your yellows and whatever. I didn't do that, so... Today, I'm going to paint up the rest of this yellow, make it a bit more shining and gold, and then I'll sort of make a bit of rust hanging from the top and so forth. But we have had other effects, so, this was just a tan colour, and then I've just got a bit of the bestial brown, very, very heavily watered down, and I've just painted it to give it a bit of a sort of dirty look as well. And the red on top, a little bit of silver around the edges and so forth, like it's worn metal. Now, I can do more detail if I want to, and I might do some of these bridges down here, or throw these balconies in a different colour, and maybe the doors, just to make them stand out. But apart from that, it's looking fine. Here's another one, another prime example. This one's a bit more dirtier and so forth. I've yet to do this. I'm more going to do it like an aqua green or a blue. It actually reminds me more of Star Wars, if anything, than, Legis Imperialis. But, we are all very, very different and so forth. So here's another one. Once again, very red and brown, bit of rock, which I thought was a nice little touch. I love the little balcony here. You just have like a little Primarch just standing and they're going, rah, 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 and so forth. And I've also got some of the ruined terrain over here, which I've painted up. Once again, it's just done a little bit differently to the standard, grey and white and a little bit of this. So this has got a bit of red, got a little bit of purple in there, and then a bit of orange and so forth. You put tanks in there, and you put a couple of squads and so forth. And the other ones I painted up. Here's another example. This one is done in a brown, well, done white and then grey, and then has like a brown wash over it. It's not too bad. I'm just looking for different variations of colour, because you just don't, like I said, want it all the same. And here we have a red building and so forth. It looks a bit more, cleaner and crisper. So, yeah, and once again, you can put tanks and people down here and up here. It's terrain, that's what it's there for. Now, you can see the thing far off to the left, my little Stargate. So my Stargate here comes off. Now, I can just do that as a broken Stargate, an objective. You've got to get to it before chaos pours out of it, or you can just, have it like that and just go, same thing. I'm not going to glue it on. I like the fact that it can come off and it can be, like that. All good. Actually, what's on the other side? It's exactly the same thing. That's not a problem. This is part of a Kickstarter I did. I've got the merchant's license for it. It's beautifully detailed and so forth. Very, very pretty. So that'll just go on the board. Now, some people have had a bit of a moan and groan at me saying, oh, look, you can't put Stargates and, big sort of like rotting pyramids and so forth. And, it's Horus heresy. So I mean, it could be a barbarian world for all we know. I mean, realistically speaking, you could put down, a castle and little villages and so forth. It doesn't have to be, big, impressive, 40K buildings. It can be a barbaric world you're on. Who knows? It can be a barren world and it just has some grass and some, dirt, and that's it. It's really up to you. So I've also done these. These are like little small pieces of terrain. They're, quite annoying. They can block line of sight. You could put maybe a little group in there or on there. Same with this one here. Once again, you can put like a squad on there and such. And I can just sit on the table somewhere. It's broken down stuff. And I got that, which is once again little terrain that you can just pop down. There's all this was printed out at 0.1. And lastly, this piece of terrain here, which is just like an old workshop or something, that will block some line of sight for the Warhound Titans and such. And you put a tank behind there, a little group of people in there maybe, I don't know. It'll look nice, hopefully, on the board. Now, I want to tell you why you should be somewhat excited about Legion Imperialis. It's epic scale to begin with, so you can literally have an entire army, a huge army on the board. I always find with 40K, even though you got a 2,000 point army, it's still like, a skirmish in some respects. And don't get me wrong, I love 40K, but, I want to have big, impressive armies. And they had Armageddon, but even then it really wasn't getting there for me, and I thought, Armageddon was going to be like a shorter version of Epic, so it was going to be like, maybe 15mm miniatures and just tons of them on the board. But anyway, the other thing I like about Legion Imperialis is you can pretty much wander around with your entire army in a box. So these are all the test prints that I've got. So in here we have, a whole lot of planes, some tanks, some more tanks, and so forth. Now, once I get the actual miniatures, they'll go in I'm not going to put them in here. I'll actually put them in my battle box, and my battle box will, is one of those huge big ones you get from GW. That'll hold easily my entire army. Easily, not a problem. And I can have huge sweeping battles on a board. And then if I want to, just pop it all up. I mean, realistically, I could put it in one of those plastic ones and, just take it with me. And if you're working, you could take it with you out for the day, pop it in the back of the car, have lunch, family, whatever. See your partner, and then in the evening, boom, away you go and play a game. Take it to work with you, paint miniatures there, and then go to a game. It's all just going to fit in a small little box anyway. Unless, of course, you're like me and you're going to have Titans, 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 and more Titans. And that's the other reason, Titans. Titanicus is a beautiful game, and I love Titanicus. It is so much fun. But it can be a little overcomplicated to some new players. And I've seen some people getting into Titanicus, and they're like, what do I do now? This, and then they just can't get it. From what I understand, Titanicus in Legion Imperialis will be much more simple, a lot more easier, and a lot more fun. And I love the idea of, having literally hundreds of little guys across the battlefield and these big, stompy Titans slowly making it across the board. And of course, you blow them up, and then, you get out these awesome smoke counters, and your Warhound is now toast. Ta-da! And that's the other thing, like I said, big, massive games, and you got a couple of smoke, piles from the Titan, and you got guys racing across the battlefield and so forth. So it's going to be a lot more interactive, I think. I think, personally, it is going to be more fun to play than 40K. My only concern is them not producing enough of the models for everyone to play. And it is one of the things I dislike about GW. It's like, these days, it's not about the game, it's not about the lore, it's about money, 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 and money. And sure, they're a business, they have to make money and stay on top. I get that, not a problem. But at the same token, you want to have a lot of a product for the first 6 months. Because there's always going to be people that are going to go, hey, wow, this epic thing, this epic thing is really taken off. It's really taken off well. I want to get into this epic game. What's that? The main box set is gone. You can't get it anymore. What, the 2 expansions, you can get one of those, but it's no good without the main rules or the other expansion. You know, what? And this is what drives people to 3D print. If you have the product and you have lots of the product, then, and if it's not too expensive, then you're going to want the real product. And GW products are expensive, but they are great quality. There's no denying that. They are great quality. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish painting up this and my little Stargate and the other bits and pieces. I am trying to keep the faith with Legion Imperialis. Look, I've heard about 4 or 5 dozen reasons about why it was cancelled, and I'm sure, you know, the PR group is just going, what are we going to do now, guys? Getting close to Christmas. We want to bring it out before then. I'm hoping my informants are right and it's going to come out in late October. I really do. Because I would love to be in summer sitting down at a long table playing huge games of Legion Imperialis than, you know, sitting there twiddling my thumbs like crazy and people going, oh, wow, look at the new Christmas box set. Oh, wow, look at this. Oh, wow, look at that. And I'm going, yeah, guys, that's really great. And, you know, I'll just sit here and just reminisce, I guess. Anyway, I'm starting to rant here, so I'm going to get off. If you have any questions, just ask. These models are from a company called Forbidden Models. You can find them in my mini factory. The gentleman that made these 3D prints actually messaged me, and I do love them, and I'm going to print out some more for a friend of mine for him. And this is from a Kickstarter I did. It's like an Egyptian theme thing. I've got a couple of sphinxes with skull faces. I did it mostly for the old world. I got a very nice and large Khmer army, so, you know, I got sphinxes with skull heads on and big sort of like pyramids with gems on top and things like that. So, you know, that's just Khmer 101, really. But yeah, that'll fit in there quite nicely. And really, let's see, it's one tank. That's a big tank. That's a really big tank. But, you know, the big tank just fits on there, just. So, you know, that's not too bad. Do we have any small tanks? There we go. I've got a rhino. Rhino fits on there. Now, before I forget, there is one other thing that I want to talk about, and this is the prime example here. We've got a tank here, and we've got a rhino here. Now, these should be realistically around the same size, and they're not. This is because of scale, and this is why I don't want to use 3D printed models in my Legion Imperialis, because I don't know the exact scale. I mean, sure, once they come out, I guess people could go, well, that's this size, and I'll just upscale the printing and do it that way. But, you know, even then, it's kind of annoying. I'd rather buy the original product. It's going to be expensive. I'm scared. I'm in Australia, man. You know, this is going to be very, very expensive. I have put aside $1,500, and I hope that's enough for a starter box set and maybe one expansion. We'll see. And people in America and UK maybe watching this going, ha, 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 what an idiot, $1,500, that's buckets. You don't know Australian prices, guys. I mean, the Leviathan box set for Australian was $420, I think, for each box. So, you know, the rest of the world got it quite cheap. Australia, no. So I'm hoping the starter box set will be about $500, and I'd like to buy 2 boxes of those, mostly because I'd like to play against somebody else. So I'll paint up one side, all of it as, you know, loyalists, and one side all as, you know, the chaos side, and go from that. I'm more likely to do Sons of Horus, nice, easy color, and green and more green. I think this has got some green on it as well. So there you go. I was practicing on the rhino here. So anyway, that's what I'll do. And I'll get 2 boxes of that. So that should come out to about $1,000. And I'll buy myself one expansion, and that'll more than likely either be Titans or tanks. Not Titans, Knights. So there's a Knights box set, which is sounding lovely. And there's also a tank box set that I think there is as well. And there's also one that has little dudes with auxiliary guns and so forth. Look, we'll see. Anyway, that's going to be me. And hopefully that'll be before Christmas. If it's after Christmas, it's going to be gut-wrenching, but there is very little I can do about it. GW do what they will. That said, I hope my information is correct and it is coming out late October. Anyway, I'll get going, guys. I've got a lot to paint here. The buildings are all finished now, so I'll put them to a side and I'll start working on drop pods, tanks, stargates, and finishing the smoke bombs. Not all the smoke bombs are going to be this colourful. A lot of them will just stay like this with a little bit more black and so forth. I will paint them up at a later date once I have more time. But at the moment, I want to get through everything that I've got. And this is something I will mention. As a 3D printer, you print faster than you can paint. So, you know, at one stage, this entire table was full of terrain. And I hadn't painted a thing. And I'm slowly working through it. The printers are on at the moment, but they're 3D printing a gift for a friend for Christmas. He's getting some really nice terrain printed up for him. And, you know, the poor bugger can't afford, he's in a worse boat than I am. So, yeah, when you print, and it's worse than, you know, 50 Shades of Grey, because I don't have a box of shame. I have several boxes of 3D prints waiting to be painted at one stage. I've now cut it down to, you know, there's maybe about, apart from the little bits and so forth, I've got one bit far over there and a couple of bits over there, and then I'm up to date. Oh no, I've got that bit there now, haven't I? And then I'm up to date. So anyway, everyone have a great day. This is Chaos signing off. Bye-bye.